All right, so digital landlording or the rank and rent business model, what is it and who is this for? Well, it's for anyone who wants to make a passive income online. It's for local business owners. Maybe you want to generate leads for your local business. And it's for entrepreneurs who want a superior business model better than Amazon FBA, drop shipping, creating books with AI and trying to sell those on Amazon, selling digital products on Etsy, setting up a 3D printing company, you name it. This is probably the best one. And by the end of this video, I'm going to convince you that being a digital landlord and doing the rank and rent business model is the best way to make money online in 2024 and beyond. All right, so let's talk about digital real estate versus traditional real estate. So you might buy an apartment building and you might have 10 units and you can sell or rent each unit for $1,000 per month. So that's 10K. Now, you know what? You got to deal with bad tenants. They could break things or not pay on time. You got to deal with clogged toilets, going into debt with a massive mortgage. You got to deal with market crashes, deal with insurance companies, right? Everything you have to deal with insurance or with real estate, rather. You might be left with $1,000 per month, after all of that. The mortgage itself on $1 million building is probably 5 to 8 grand a month, right? So you're not left with a lot of money to reinvest into your business. Now, don't get me wrong, real estate is obviously one of the best assets to buy and hold. But the reason that real estate goes up is because the dollar is actually devaluing through inflation. If you own assets, that's a way that you can hedge against inflation and actually keep your purchasing power over time. But that's the topic for another video. That's kind of a can of worms to jump into. But the fact is, people make a lot of money selling property. But being a real estate investor is kind of a tough gig compared to being a digital landlord, because if you do digital things, you can duplicate things for free. You can duplicate a website. You can duplicate content, right? Everything digital is duplicatable, and it doesn't, you don't have to get a new roof. You don't have to like maintain it from the weather, right? It's digital. It's in cyberspace. So it's maintainable, it's scalable, it's duplicatable. You get the idea, right? Now, what if I told you I was more profitable and I had more freedom being a digital landlord than I would owning an apartment complex? That's right. I get the same $1,000 per month from my tenants, except they're local business owners, that you would renting out an apartment unit. All right. So what I do in digital real estate is I rank these little websites in Google, or I run ads, right? For profitable keywords like plumber Seattle. You can see right there. Then I send the calls and leads to a local plumber in Seattle, right? It's that simple. They're happy to pay me for the leads because they make 10, 20, 50 times what they pay me for in a month. And one of my clients, that's not an exaggeration, right? One of my clients told me I was charging him $1,000 a month for plumbing leads, and he was making $50,000 a month, which is pretty insane. But he also asked me not to raise my prices. So for them, it's a guaranteed return on their money. And for me, it's passive income, which is great. It's better than casinos. It's better than, putting your money on, out of the money call options in the stock market. And I could probably raise the rent on him a little bit, but I don't want to be too greedy in this business model. Retaining clients is important too. So if he's happy, then I just move on to the next one. I make a new website and I charge, someone else $1,000 a month for a brand new website. And I focus on scaling this thing out. But here are my costs, right? After everything's ranked, right? Obviously, there's costs associated with getting it ranked on the front end. But after you're set up, you're really looking at $9 a year for a domain, $1 a month for a phone number, and $1 a month for web hosting. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. I mean, compared to this, it's not even comparable, right? This is like a 95% profit margin. This is like a, maybe 5 to 10%, right? So it's pretty great. So I've touched on rank and rent's advantage over traditional real estate, but I want to explore further why rank and rent is a superior business model than being a web designer, right? So if you're a web designer, you are trading your time for money, right? Spend 20 hours on a website, you sell it for 1,000. Maybe you spend 5 hours on $1,000 website. It doesn't really matter, right? All of this is 50 bucks an hour, which is pretty good. But you might spend 40 hours to do a $2,000 website or 100 hours to do a $5,000 website, so on and so forth, right? You get the payment once from the client. So you spend 160 hours to make 8 grand. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good, right? If you were making $50 an hour, a lot of you would probably be happy with that. The problem is it's not passive, right? You are literally trading your time for money. It's not scalable. There's only one of you. You could make a web design agency, right? And you can hire other people to do the work for you. But then at that point, the most important thing is sales. So you got to bring a consistent flow of sales to keep your employees busy and to keep all of this going. So being a digital landlord, on the other hand, you are spending probably the same amount of time, but you're actually leveraging the power of the premium that you put on the cost per lead, right? So if you're doing $1,000 a month, that's 12 grand a year, but that's every single year, right? So it's passive income, and you can make $36,000. You can give yourself a $36,000 per year raise with 2 websites, and it only took you 125 hours. I don't know, I don't know what the hourly rate on that is, but it starts to get pretty crazy once you multiply how many years a client has been paying you with how long it took you to build the site, right? A good example is when I started up a new plumbing website. And by the way, plumbing is pretty competitive. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is a good niche. It's one of my favorites for various reasons. But I spent $2,500 over the course of 12 months to rank this plumbing website. I was, so determined to get this thing ranked. That took me 12 months. You know, higher competition. You can get things ranked in less than a month if you do your research correctly. But bigger city. That website is bringing me $2,000 per month. So I turned $2,500 into 24,000 per year, and it's been paying me for 6 years. Let's do the math on this really quick. So 24,000 times 6 years, $144,000. I'm going to divide that by, yes. So I spent 1.7% of how much I've made to make that amount, or in other words, I've made 98.3% profit margin. It's pretty good. It's pretty good when you start to break it down like that. So let's talk about the value ladder. As a website designer, you got to think of, or really any business that you own, you have to think about your services on a ladder. And I know this looks like stairs, but just bear with me. I went to college for graphic design, all the way down here. But the problem is that people can just get graphic design for so cheap now with AI or Fiverr a few years ago. So I transitioned away from doing strictly design, logos and brochures and, magazine layouts. And I went up the value ladder to web design. All of a sudden, I could charge more money because the value to the client is higher. They can actually get new clients for themselves through website design. Every modern business needs a website, right? In today's digital day and age, everyone needs a website. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But from there, I went to SEO and pay-per-click. And keep in mind, this is on the client's website, right? It's not on your own website that you own. It's on the client's website, doing SEO for them, running ads to their funnel, that they pick up the phone and sell. And I'm still doing website design. I'm still doing SEO, a little bit of a mix, but my bread and butter is rank and rent. Look at this. You can make more money giving people exactly what they want, which is leads, by setting up a lead generation site. Okay. It's infinitely easier to sell clients what they want, which is phone calls and leads, than it is trying to sell them a thing they could potentially that could potentially get them what they want, which is graphic design, web design, SEO, and pay-per-click, right? So in a way, you're doing all of the marketing up front before you've even spoken to this client. You're doing all that work up front on the front end, and then you're just approaching them saying, hey, do you want phone calls? Do you want leads? Do you want the one thing that can actually grow your business right now? You don't have to sell them on a $3,000 per month SEO or pay-per-click package. You don't have to sell them on a $5,000 website. You have to sell them on a logo, right? You already did all that stuff up front. You're just giving them what they want, right? And there's a lot of companies that do this: Yelp, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Thumbtack, Porch. There's tons of them, right? But most of them do everything. They do their lead generation through pay-per-click. A lot of the times, Home Advisor will be ranked on the first page of Google for a lot of terms, so they do SEO as well. But let's be honest, they're a multi-billion-dollar lead generation company. That's what they are. We're doing the exact same thing, but at a much smaller scale, and we actually have a better product because we send them exclusive leads. Instead of Home Advisor selling non-exclusive leads, selling to 5 other contractors to make 5 times the money on a single lead, people don't like that, as you can imagine, because then they're doing a bidding war against all these other contractors in the city, right? So you can actually approach these local business owners with a better product, a better solution. And honestly, the last rung on the value ladder is sales. So if you can generate the leads and close the leads, bring them to the final spot in the sales cycle, and you can actually get money, you can translate leads into dollars in a bank account. That is kind of where you can take this thing next. And you can actually turn into a sales organization. Because let's be honest, people who do roofing, for example, if it's kind of like a one-man band, he might be up on a roof or a ladder or something, and he can't answer the phone when a lead comes in, right? What does he do then? If he doesn't have a front desk lady or front desk person to answer the phone calls or the emails that are coming in, he's leaving a lot of money on the table, right? So if you can service or field these leads, set up the appointment, set up the estimation, follow up with them after the proposal and the bid is sent, and actually close them, that is a business in a box, and you can command a massive, massive premium. Even beyond that, up here would be lead arbitrage, which I won't get into, or literally just setting up a roofing company. Because if you can do all this stuff, then there's nothing stopping you from just subcontracting the work and actually creating a legitimate company based on whatever the service is, right? This is where a lot of people fall short, is generating leads and closing deals, right? If you do good work, you should be able to get this stuff figured out, right? By the way, if you found any of this content helpful at all, please smash the like button, subscribe for more rank and rent passive income content just like this. Now, the best part about all of this is you don't need a massive investment like you do with traditional physical real estate like mortgages and whatnot. The cost of entry, barrier to entry, is very low. You have to do your research correctly and kind of know the nuances of the business model, which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, which is myself. My course, Rank and Bank. I've done this for the last 10 years, and I challenge you, if you're a website designer, to put your website design skills to work in a whole new way. I've created this step-by-step process, this step-by-step course, A to Z, that helps you formulate the game plan, do location scouting, find a good niche and city combination, build the website, get the content written, do the SEO, get the GMB, do sales and getting paid. And I've spent over $80,000 on extended education courses over the last 10 years, mastermind events, going there in person in Orange County, Seattle, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. And I've built this blueprint and a roadmap for you to follow step by step to fast track your way to your first rank and rent client and beyond. Now, here's the course. I've redacted information for obvious reasons, but in my course, you'll find a master standard operating procedure document of the entire system, a great niche list, over 1,000 niches to choose from that I've compiled, due diligence research worksheets, WordPress templates for Bricks Builder and Elementor, my entire list of tools and services and softwares that I use, my step by step SEO process to get your websites ranked, the exact sales script I use to close $1 million in sales, scaling and outsourcing tactics and strategies, a community of like minded digital landlords also building their rank and rent empire, and access to me, of course, on Zoom for any questions you have along the way. So one of my students, Nick, is actually over $10,000 per month on his rank and rent journey. So big ups to Nick. We're actually doing a testimonial video soon, so be on the lookout for that. Now, if that interests you, next steps, message me passive income if you're seeing this on Facebook or Instagram, or go to rankn, the letter N, bank.ai. Just go here and you can book a call with me. We'll hop on super casual, just talk about where you're at, where you want to get to, if it's a good fit for joining the program, and we will get you on the journey of building passive income, tiny little websites to bring you a passive income. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.